Hello, good evening. It's News 360 coming to you live from the News Hub here at Adesawe Kanda. I am Portia Gabor.
And I am Martin Asiedu Dartey. Let's bring you the headlines for the next 1 hour.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal,
EcoBank.
Tonight, Eastern Region Ghana Water Company producing only 1 million cubic meters of water daily, far below the expected 3.5 million cubic meters due to illegal mining.
Ghana Bar Association calls on President Mahama to release prima facie findings against the Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu.
Also tonight, healthcare professionals call for training of more specialists as President John Mahama launches the Ghana Medical Care Trust Fund to take care of chronic ailments.
In business news, Ghana's petroleum revenue increased by 27% to $1.35 billion in 2024, despite production decline for fifth consecutive time.
And on the international front, several people killed after shooting at a hair salon in Sweden.
We have details of all these stories coming up in the next 1 hour. Do stay with us.
Right, so the Ghana Bar Association has been speaking regarding the recent developments having to do with the Chief Justice. We'll take you through the specifics of what the Bar Association has been saying. Now, topical amongst what they are asking for is for President John Dramani Mahama to, as a matter of urgency, release what constituted his decision that led to the establishment of a cause against the Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu, resulting in her subsequent suspension. The association's call to the president is part of resolutions made at their just-ended mid-year conference over the weekend. They are also calling for the withdrawal of the directive by the acting Chief Justice, Bafo Boni, to, the Paul Bafo Boni, the acting Chief Justice, on assigning new cases and advocated for an enhanced use of technology in the process. On matters affecting the nation, the Ghana Bar Association urged the judiciary to expedite the hearing of Galamsey-related cases and charged all arms of government to put in place sustained actions to help eradicate the menace. They also touched on the conflict in Bawku, where the association also noted that it is committed to support any constitutional and legal measures necessary to secure enduring peace in the area. The Ghana Bar Association condemned the present stalemate surrounding the Ablekuma North elections and charged all relevant stakeholders to take immediate steps to resolve the situation, which has led to the unrepresentation of Ablekuma North constituents. So this was after their mid-year meeting on the 25th of April. And I will try and get further perspectives and responses to the key issues raised by the Ghana Bar Association subsequently.
Let's now go to the Ashanti region, where the Asantehene on Tuesday held separate meetings with feuding parties in the Bawku conflict. Some natives of the troubled town have expressed optimism mediation will yield the needed results. William Evans-Inkom has filed this report.
The path to finding lasting peace in Bawku has already been set here in Menchia, with Asantehene leading the mediation process. Tumfuo first met with delegation from Mampusi. after which he met with delegation from Kusasi. Tomorrow, the two parties will meet the Santehene. On Thursday, May 1, the two parties will have their final meeting with the Santehene. Heightened security, access in Menchia was restricted, especially the path to the main auditorium. Some natives of Bawku were hopeful Santehene's mediation will yield the needed results.
We can't be fighting to the end. We can't kill each other for anything. You understand? It is misunderstanding between two brothers. Non-pieces and Kusasis are one, no matter what. Before the assembly between Asantema
now that the matter is before the Santehene, we know that the issue will be resolved. We are all striving for peace.
William Evans Inkum, TV3 News, Menchia, Kumasi.
Now let's take a step back to our earlier story having to do with the Ghana Bar Association's call for President John Mahama to, as a matter of urgency, release what constituted his decision that led to the establishment of a cause against the Chief Justice that has, also constituted her suspension by the President. Let's speak to Deputy Attorney General on his thoughts on this particular development or position that has been shared by the Ghana Bar Association. Justice Tramsai, very good evening to you. Thank you for your time this evening.
Yeah, good evening, and good evening to your viewers.
From what you say, what would your understanding be of what the Ghana Bar Association is saying, that the suspension of the Chief Justice is unconstitutional due to the absence of a published CI, and that the President must reverse the decision?
Yeah, so the Ghana Bar Association is just like any association made up of people. And the meetings of the Ghana Bar Association, the decision that they take at those meetings are basically determined by the persons who, for the time being, are members or attended that meeting. That the Ghana Bar Association is not a court of law. The Ghana Bar Association is not a university, it's not an academic institution that produces reasoned or decisions. It's just a political organization. And when I say a political organization, let me clarify, I don't mean it's NPP or NPP, but I mean it is a group of people who are exercising their political and civil rights to determine what they think is right. And that decision can change. So what happened at the meeting, okay, is as good as the persons who form the majority of that meeting, the majority in that meeting. So, for example, you notice that earlier the Ghana Bar Association issued a press statement, and the press statement was very emphatic that no one should interfere with the process. 2, that we should allow the process to end, after which we are entitled to challenge the outcome. 3, that all the parties involved should comply with the law. These are the points that were made in that. Now, the second communique is completely opposed to anything that the Ghana Bar Association said in the first press statement. It is now saying that the President should not go ahead and do to reverse some of the things that he has done. It went ahead to say that the President should restore the Chief Justice and all the things that they have said. What does it tell you? It tells you that for any moment in time, the Ghana Bar Association is not a constant institution that has any deliberate or consistent views. Its views are determined by the people who form the majority at the moment. And that is how I take this. And let me tell you something. We at the Attorney General Department, we receive views from all manner of persons throughout the year on many national issues. You understand?
Right.
We will consider the Ghana Bar Association's communique as one of such views in advising the President. And as far as we are concerned, the president has complied strictly with the terms of the Constitution. Every single clause in the Constitution, the president has complied with them. And
But Justice Shremsai, if they say that the president's decision was without a published CI, how do you understand it? How do you interpret that to a layperson? That although from what you're saying and from what many other legal brains have expressed, the president followed due process based on what the Constitution says. But the Bar Association says that although the president has done that, his decision was not backed by a published CI. What's your understanding of that statement?
You know, that reasoning is faulty. It's faulty in the sense that it is assuming that when a CI is not published, then the person who is given the power to exercise the discretion cannot exercise it. That is not the proper. It is not the proper understanding of the provision at all. For example, there are so many. The last time I checked, there are about 50, provisions in the Constitution where a similar phrase is used that the president may do something or Parliament may do something. For example, the Constitution says that the president may appoint ministers. That is clearly a discretionary power there, right?
Right.
And there's no CI which guides the president's appointment of who becomes a minister. Does that mean that all the ministers that the president of Ghana have been appointed from 1992 are unconstitutional? For another one, the Constitution says that the president may enter into international agreement with other nations. So far, there is no CI who regulates what kind of agreement the president may enter and for what purpose. Does that mean that all the agreements that we've been signing with international organizations in other states is unconstitutional?
Right.
A third one, they said the president may grant pardon. They grant pardon to persons who have been convicted. There is no CI, as far as I'm aware, regulating whom the president should grant pardon to and under what circumstances the president may grant a pardon beyond what is in the Constitution. Does that mean that all the pardons that the presidents have been granting? So, you see, the whole point is empty as far as law is concerned. It lacks any serious legal basis.
Right.
But then again, like I said, anyone who goes to a meeting, if they are in a majority, they can pass any resolution they want. It does not in any way suggest that the resolution is
binding.
It's a valid legal opinion which someone must
follow. Right. But Mr. Shremsai, briefly, and if you can help me with that, many people are interested to know what the prima facie case is. The Bar Association, for instance, is asking that it be made public or should be released by the president on how he arrived at the reason why the Chief Justice has been suspended. Is that a fair position, or would you advise the president to do that?
This is the lowest point of the community. You and I are aware that the Constitution said that the proceedings of this, the proceedings involving the removal of the Chief Justice should be made private. The proceedings should remain private and not be made public. So if a group of lawyers meet at an event and decide that the best call they can make is to call the president to make that which the Constitution says should be private, should make it public. What does that tell you? Is that not a group of people who are determined to either subvert or to overcome or to circumvent the Constitution? You don't need to go to law school to understand that when the Constitution says something should be private and the series of court decisions confirm that the proceedings, including the petition, the responses, the conversation about this should remain private, how can you then go to a meeting and say that as a group of lawyers, we want the president to make it public? If you have any intention of changing the position of the law, what you do is to seek an amendment of the law. But to say that the law should remain so, yet let's do something else, is to act unconstitutionally. And so it is shocking that the Ghana Bar Association, and the members who attend the meeting could reach such a
We are grateful for your time this evening. Justice Shremsai is Deputy Attorney General and has been responding to a statement by the Ghana Bar Association. Pleasure talking to you.
Let's now go to the eastern region where the Ghana Water Company Limited is currently producing only 1 million cubic meters of water daily, far below the expected 3.5 million cubic meters. According to the Eastern Regional Director, Engineer Paul Akpanya, the 2.5 million cubic meter shortfall is due to polluted intake sources caused by illegal mining activities and the use of outdated equipment.
60,000 residents in 11 districts depend on Ghana Water Limited's 23 active water systems in the Eastern region. But many still struggle to access clean water, a situation affecting daily livelihoods.
Regularly, once, twice, weekends, Sundays.
The Eastern Regional Minister, Engineer Paul Cletus Akpanya, revealed that some treatment plants are intermittently shut down due to poor water intake source, while chemical treatment costs have spiked from 0.2 pesos per cubic meter to 1 CD per cubic meter.
Bonsu treatment plant production stopped there. So for about 7 months now, we are unable to produce because at the point even they blocked the water completely. The water was not coming. Now it has started coming, but very turbid and very slow flow rate. As a man can see, about a month ago, by evening when they were going to sleep, there was water. The next morning, the intake was completely dry. When they moved, they went to pack bamboo in the river, block the water so that they could have water to wash whatever. Because the plant is not designed to treat that quality of raw water. So you have to bring in another system where the water will settle before it now goes into the flocculation, coagulation, sedimentation process before we can move out. So we are now working on what to do. It's a bad situation.
He, however, assured that interventions
are ongoing on their plants to replace outdated equipment to bridge the supply gap.
Recently, we had to replace because the old pumps there were so weak and breaking down very frequently. So if you go to Sawam now, we have replaced all the 3 high-lift pumps with new ones. That has increased production because we did some work also on the clear work. We detected some defects, so we've worked on that. So there is an improvement of about 27%.
The Eastern Regional Minister, Rita J. Awate, emphasized the importance of access to quality water and pledged action against irresponsible mining activities that threaten water sources.
These 3 things, and we know without our work on the illegal mining and other distractions towards the company's activity, these things cannot be achieved. Our outfit has started doing a lot of things. Currently, we are doing slow operations. We have seized almost 10 excavators right now, and we are on it.
Sustainable Development Goal 6 demands government achieves universal and equitable access to safe and affordable drinking water for all before 2030.
Now, Child Rights International is drawing urgent attention to a growing crisis, the involvement of children in illegal mining activities. Its executive director has unveiled new research that exposes the devastating impact of these dangerous practices on children's health, education and future prospects. With lives being risked and rights violated, the findings aim to inform national action and policy reform. Godwin Asiedu reports.
13-year-old Kelvin Osei and Michael Oteng, 12, not their real names, together with their friends are gearing up for work instead of being in the classroom. They stroll calmly, making what has become a daily journey from their village to an illegal mining site. They are no way child laborers. These children scavenge at abandoned illegal mining sites known as Galamsey in Ghana in search of gold. Here, hundreds of children, Michael inclusive, are risking their lives in order to find a few grams of hope. Gold. Michael will prefer to be at school, but he needs to work to get money for books and feeding. 16-year-old Benjamin Ohene is still in school, but his best friend, 20-year-old Matthias Osafo, dropped out 2 years ago to cater for his younger siblings. For the past 3 years, these two have had the same daily routine, digging frantically with their hands in the sand of Chebi Apepem. The rate at which children in Chebi Apepem abandon their classrooms to engage in illegal mining activities popularly known as galamsey in Ghana is very high. Joshua and Matthias come here thrice or 4 times in a week. Executive Director for Child Rights International, Brighter Pia, described this as worrying.
It's getting worse. That is a fact. The situation is getting out of hand because if you look at the rate of school dropout within a certain age cohort, it's alarming.
17-year-old Efia Ando, not her real name, is heavily pregnant and in her 3rd trimester. She got impregnated by her 21-year-old boyfriend, who is into illegal mining.
The mini friend Ebenezer. You go the Juman Kakranga. I saw quite Jumana say a ye man kakra, but you remember Miss Canny be say be a mange. Now now for force you, Minamma Mijai. Ain't Nama Meninji school.
In the middle of our conversation, her water broke. She will soon be in labor.
It's the peak of it for a child to say that they don't have any alternative for survival, but use sexual activities to be able to survive. As a nation, I think it's also a threat to us.
In more news tonight, President John Mahama has launched the Ghana Medical Trust Fund, a flagship healthcare initiative aimed at reducing the cost of treating chronic illnesses. Otherwise known as Mahama Cares, it will provide financial support for persons suffering from chronic diseases like kidney failure, cancer, and heart conditions.
It was a campaign promise made at Bodom in the Bono East region by President Mahama on November 12, 2024. The initiative intends to ensure fairness in healthcare access, particularly for those facing financial barriers to treatment across the country. In Ghana, available data shows that non-communicable diseases are responsible for approximately 40% of all deaths. Government believes most of these deaths could be averted with the initiative in force. The main source of funding for the trust fund is the uncapped NHIS, while direct budgetary allocations, donations and grants is also expected to complement its sustainability. President Mahama during the launch noted that a draft bill on the policy document is expected to be laid before Parliament when the House resumes.
Today we're launching more than just an initiative. We're launching hope. Hope for thousands of Ghanaians living with chronic diseases. Support from the fund will be based on formal applications, carefully vetted, and will focus on costs not currently covered under the NHIS. The fund will operate as an independent statutory trust, governed by a board of trustees, and supported by a dedicated administrative secretariat.
He further encouraged corporate bodies and individuals to donate into the fund. As a first step, he promised to give out 6 months of his salary as seed capital.
And so that should encourage all of us and encourage, the corporate institutions to do even much better. But on that note, I'm not yet being paid. They say Accountant General is still doing something. But whenever Accountant General finishes, 6 months of whatever I'm entitled to will go into Mahama Cares.
Health Minister Kwabena Minta Akando has been explaining the modalities and who qualifies as beneficiary.
Once you are a Ghanaian, you are a prospective beneficiary. There will be a number of factors depending on the budget we have. I mean, your occupation, the level of salary. I mean, you put a lot of factors into place.
Rector of the Ghana College of Physicians and Surgeons, Professor Richard Adano, would want government to support the training of more specialists to bridge the gap in treatment of chronic diseases across the country.
And we've realized that we need about 6,500 additional specialists for us to be, of all categories, for us to be able to deliver the kind of care that is needed by 2030. Currently, we have about 2,000 specialists in training in the country. So there's quite a bit of a gap.
Madam Janet Asiedu and her 12-year-old daughter see the initiative as a relief when implementation begins. She and her daughter are battling diabetes for years.
More the more no because a drone tono no body.
And also be beneficiaries of the initiative are equally elated.
I think that this brings some kind of hope. You know, for so many years, this is something that we've been praying for. But still, we are pleading with the government to do more, especially with the cost of medications for renal patients.
Meanwhile, health sector players have commended government for the Ghana Medical Care Trust Fund initiative. They, however, intensified calls for government to support the training of more healthcare specialists for a comprehensive role and distribution of the resources of Ghana Medical Care Trust Fund initiative across the country.
Imagine somebody being on dialysis for the rest of his or her life. He or she has to be coughing between 700 to 1,002 Ghana cedis every session, and you do 3 sessions a week. So that's close to almost between 2,008 to almost 5,000 Ghana cedis every week for the treatment of dialysis. This is just unaffordable by the youth of this nation who have been afflicted by this disease. So to have seen something like this, the Ghana Medical Trust Fund, which really seeks to cater for these patients who have this chronic illness, including dialysis, is really something that we must all applaud.
Very soon, if we do not take care, we will not have the healthy population that will work in the country. And that is why we find this as a timely intervention. Of course, we acknowledge other interventions that have been tried in the past by previous governments for dialysis and others, but this is comprehensive to deal with those chronic conditions. And also because there is a bill that is supposed to support this and also policy documents that engage this, we believe that it would make for a sustainable policy, providing sustainable financing for it. Of course, as every policy, we expect certain things that will go on to make sure it is actualized. And we as GMA will be watching and putting our voices and supporting them to make sure that whatever promises has been made regarding this policy is done.
And for many Ghanaians battling chronic diseases, the high cost of healthcare has proven fatal. From cancer to chronic kidney disease, among others, many have died not because treatment is not available, but because there's simply no money to access healthcare.
I pray committing my kidneys into your hands, oh God. Father, oh Lord, I want to do a transplant. Father, I'm praying every time that, oh God, you come through for me. May you bring someone my way, oh God, who will be able to support me.
Unfortunately, Cynthia Colley's prayer was unanswered. She did not have enough money for dialysis and could not afford the cost of a kidney transplant. She was buried on September 14 last year.
If you don't have money, it's different thing.
Cynthia was not the only fatality. Sarah Ankra, who had chronic kidney disease, died. Fidos, battling a chronic ailment, also died due to lack of money. Amos also died.
I did a test and they said I have a kidney failure. My parents are forcing to get some money, but still they haven't get.
Collins passed on after a fight with cancer. These are just a fraction of the statistics of persons with chronic diseases including cancer, stroke and cardiovascular diseases who have passed on not because treatment was not available, but because there was no money to access health care which was not covered by the National Health Insurance Scheme.
This all your mommy 200 million. Maybe.
We don't have money to go to any proper hospital, so we were not able to detect it. So, Auntie, please help me. I don't want to die. I beg you.
For years, many persons with chronic diseases with treatment as high as 200,000 cedis and sometimes in foreign currency have had to rely on GoFundMe, social media, philanthropists and traditional media soliciting for funds just to pay their treatment.
I didn't know treating cancer was this expensive. I'm to pay 13,650 at Kolebu. But as it stands now, I can't even do it at Kolebu. I'm doing it at Sweden, Ghana, possibly, if I get that funds. And Sweden, Ghana is charging me 37,500 cedis.
The Ghana Medical Trust Fund may have come late for many who have died, but this should be a starting point to improve healthcare delivery in the country in terms of health infrastructure and affordability. Indeed, quality healthcare should become accessible to all, irrespective of one's financial status. Portia, Gabor, TV3 News.
Still watching News 360 on TV3. Stay with us. We have business, sports, entertainment all coming up after this.
Yeah.
Is not hitting as expected.
Yeah.
However, our revenue seems to be doing well.
Yeah, significantly. Increased last year by about 27%. And this figure is despite the fact that we haven't signed any new oil deals over the last couple of years. So imagine if we did.
Okay, let's get to the details.
Hello there, good evening. Welcome to the business segment here on News 360. I am Michael Obudu. Now, Ghana's total petroleum revenue increased by 27.8% to over $1.3 billion in 2024 from about $1 billion in 2023. The 2024 performance, which represents the second highest annual petroleum receipts since inception, was mainly driven by increased global crude prices.
According to the 2024 Public Interest and Accountability Committee (PIAC) report, Ghana's crude oil production continued to decline for the fifth consecutive time. Production dipped to 48.25 million barrels in 2024 from an all-time high of 71.44 million barrels in 2019. This represents a 0.01% year-on-year decline and a 5-year average decline of 7.4%. Despite efforts by the Ministry of Energy to attract investment, no petroleum agreement was signed in 2014, marking 5 consecutive years without a new agreement since 2018. PIAC Chair Constantine Kujaji has expressed concern over the persistent decline and urged proactive measures to address the issue.
We must up our games in our upstream industry by getting more investments, because if you don't get the investments, you can't get the revenue. So we need to up our game, identify the necessary the challenges that we see, find out what is happening so far as the industry is concerned, why are we having the constant decline, and address it.
He also emphasized the need for improved and advanced exploration data to attract investors and boost production.
We need to improve our data to attract the needed investments. It appears we are using old data, old technology, so we need to improve on that. And the regulators are the ones tasked with that responsibility to do so.
Now, the Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana, COPEC, Duncan Amwa, has announced an impending reduction in fuel prices effective Thursday. He attributes the drop to favorable international market trends and the relative stability of the Ghanaian cedi. Duncan Amwa, however, cautioned against immediate adjustments in transport fares.
The next pricing window starts in the next 2 days or 48 hours. Petrol, we are expecting, would go down by some 2.4%. Diesel, 2.7% decline. LPG could do about 5% decline based on the numbers we have and have seen industry-wide. So that means that you are likely to see some reductions further on current pump prices because international market variables have gone down. The cedi has also performed quite well within the period. So give or take, you should see pump prices decline marginally effective Thursday, Friday morning. That has led to calls by a section of Ghanaians for reduction in transport fares. We think that we should hasten slowly. Fuel prices as we speak, although have gone down, are still above the 14 Ghana threshold. If we force the transport operators to go down on their fares, we are simply telling them to go up again if tomorrow you wake up and the fuel price has gone up again.
To mark 10 successful years of operation, Petrosol Ghana Limited has shown its appreciation to loyal customers by distributing gifts, culminating in the grand giveaway of 2 vehicles. The CEO of Petrosol, Michael Bozumbil, noted that the next phase of the company's Energizing Dream promo aims at creating sustainable job opportunities for the youth across the country.
Petrosol, one of Ghana's leading indigenous brands in the petroleum industry, celebrated 10 years of innovation and growth. During its 10th anniversary, Petrosol showed appreciation to its loyal customers through a series of special giveaways, with a grand finale in the northern and southern parts of the country, culminating in the celebration with a grand presentation of 2 vehicles to long-standing customers. As part of the event, the Chief Executive Officer of Petrosol expressed appreciation to customers across over 100 fuel stations in various peri-urban communities nationwide.
We couldn't have come this far but for the loyalty and commitment of our customers. We've invested over 3 million Ghana cedis to reward our customers, and we believe that this is just the beginning.
He further outlined the company's vision for the next phase of its operations.
The next decade of our operation, we say we want to energize dreams. We are energizing communities, we are energizing the dreams of our customers, we are even energizing the nation by making sure that we deliver sustainable jobs.
Also present at the ceremony was Executive Director of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, COPEC, who praised Petrosol for their genuine commitment to their customers.
Petrosol is one of such very good brands that Ghanaians would attest to. We were not surprised when they rolled out the full quantity campaign, which is to say that if you buy 10 cedis, you should get 10 cedis and not 9 cedis. That's a brand that is building trust for the Ghanaian people.
Petrosol's 10th anniversary celebration underscored its dedication to customer appreciation and commitment to future growth.
Johnny Walker, a brand under the Guinness Ghana umbrella, has officially launched the annual Ghana Golf Championship, set to take place on May 30 and 31, 2025. The 2-day tournament welcomes golf clubs from across the country, including female participants, making it an inclusive competition.
Marking its inaugural edition, the Johnny Walker Ghana Golf Championship is expected to be the biggest golf tournament in Ghana, promising a premium experience filled with competition, networking and entertainment. Winners will receive prestigious awards as part of the celebration. Marketing and Innovation Director at Guinness Ghana Breweries PLC, Estella Muzito, expressed enthusiasm for the upcoming tournament, highlighting its potential to elevate golf in Ghana.
Johnny Walker has always been part of golf because it really mirrors what the brand is about, to keep walking. You know, it's about precision, it's about determination and skill. And so we've always felt that, you know, we needed to have something there to connect with our consumers and also those who aspire to drink Johnny Walker. And so we've launched this annual event that starts this year in May, and we hope that it will continue for many more years to come.
President of the Ghana Golf Association, Leonard Kweku Ochiri, praised Johnny Walker for its commitment to sports development in Ghana, acknowledging the impact of such initiatives.
On behalf of the Ghana Golf Association, we are deeply appreciative of this outstanding contribution. This championship represents the monumental step forward to further evaluate our sports, deepen its impact, and inspire both established and aspiring golfers across Ghana.
Retired Captain Kofi Amoabin, a Johnny Walker icon, affirmed his support, highlighting the brand's connection to golf spirit. At the launch, Guinness Ghana Board Chair Elvis Addo announced the tournament's annual recurrence, aiming to foster collaborations and inspire the golfing community.
As we tee off the launch of the Johnny Walker Annual Golf Championship, I'm excited to share that the championship will officially take place in May every year. And it will be 2 days of high driving competition, mastery, fun. Golf, much like Johnny Walker, is a game of precision. Every swing is calculated, every putt is a test of patience and accuracy.
The upcoming event is expected to have 30 slots for women and a senior category for both male and female above the age of 60.
Before we leave, we'll bring you updates from the Forex market. And that'll be all for the business segment here on News 360. I am Michael Obudu. Next, the sports.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the sports segment here on News 360 with me, Oreku Ampofo. We travel back to 2023 where three sports Belishen discovered physically challenged high jumper Gilbert Ampia all the way in Akumfi. The 16-year-old who dreams of becoming a Paralympian clinched his first individual title during the Marrakesh Grand Prix over the weekend and was honored by Paralympic President Samson Dean alongside his teammates upon their return to Ghana. There's more in the following story.
On April 26th, 16-year-old physically challenged athlete Gilbert Ampia achieved a remarkable feat in his fledgling Paralympic career. The St. Augustine's College student, who hails from Ekumfi Echa in Ghana's central region, cleared a height of 1.73 meters to secure a bronze medal in the high jump T44 category at the Crown Prince Moulay El Hassam Stadium in Morocco during the para-athletics meet. Gilbert, who was completely unknown 2 years ago, was unearthed by 3 Sports Bill Ishen.
Somewhere September 2023, we all heard of Gilbert through a report from Bill Ishon, where he did a documentary on this young man. At that time, I would say he was a 14-year-old. And we received the documentary and decided that we will monitor his progress. I want this morning to be a special occasion, but we shall organize another special occasion for Mr. Bill Ishon for doing such a great job.
And Pierre's heroics in Morocco have put him in the limelight ahead of the 2026 Paralympics.
Very good. I am very, very happy. And I am also proud of myself to win a bronze medal for Ghana Paralympics Committee. I say, being thanks to them, because they motivate me to do more. So they will support me anytime.
Gilbert's inspiring story has opened the door for other physically challenged athletes to showcase their talent.
To announce to Ghanaians that this year, the National Paralympic Committee, with its 22 associations, shall organize the first ever Para Sports Festival, which will be a platform that we shall work together with the media, stakeholders, to make sure that Ghana, for the first time, will organize such an event to give opportunity to the unknown, as Bill did identify Gilbert.
The story of Gilbert is a unique testament to breaking boundaries and pushing beyond your limits.
Well, a very inspiring story there. But before we go, just to bring you an update of the UEFA Champions League, where Paris Saint-Germain are currently leading Arsenal by 1-0 in the first leg of the semi-final being played at the Emirates Stadium. It was scored by Ousmane Dembele in the 4th minute after a brilliant team play there. Saw him switch the ball out wide to Kivircha.
Game, sir. So far so good. You've watched 45 minutes of the game. What do you think of the first half, and what can Arsenal do to come back?
Well, you can get more of these reactions as well as updates from the game between Arsenal and Paris Saint-Germain on our social media handles at 3SportsGH. My name is Ore Kwampofo. Up next on the bulletin is entertainment with Anita Ekufu.
Welcome to the Entertainment News segment. My name is Anita Ekufu, and all is set for the launch of the Black Star Experience, government's flagship initiative for the tourism, culture and creative arts industries. And the highly anticipated event will take place on Thursday, May 1, 2025 at the Freedom and Justice Monument at the Black Star Square in Accra. We have details of that and more. The Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, along with its implementing agencies, is set to officially launch the government's flagship tourism initiative, the Black Star Experience. Thoughtfully curated, the program aims to position Ghana as a gateway to Africa for the global diaspora. The Black Star Experience will showcase a rich blend of cultural and entertainment events, including street carnivals, film screenings, and a fashion festival, food fairs, theatrical performances, concert party competitions, and a monthly excursions to domestic tourist sites, all designed to boost local tourism. Once fully implemented, the initiative is expected to significantly contribute to job creation, cultural exchange, and economic growth. Prosecutors in Sean Diddy Combs' federal sex trafficking case are seeking to block expert testimony regarding his alleged diminished mental capacity. They argue that his defense failed to meet a deadline to notify them and that the proposed testimony by Dr. Eli Aoun violates the Insanity Defense Reform Act and is based on impermissible hearsay, especially since Aoun never examined Diddy. The testimony was intended to question whether Diddy was mentally lucid during the alleged crimes. Meanwhile, the judge has allowed Diddy's team to present a swingers lifestyle defense, although the court rejected efforts to cite other public figures as examples. And today on TGMA Throwback, we're putting the spotlight on the reggae dancehall song of the year. And let's quickly run by you 3 non-reggae dancehall artists to have won a category in the history of the TGMAs. And at the 2021 awards, Ghanaian South African singer and songwriter Adina Thembi walked away with the best reggae dancehall song of the year with her hit song, Why. She beat competition from reggae dancehall songs like Jidi by Ras Kuku, Sharif by Ms. V, and Forever by veteran Samini to win the award. Ghanaian Afrobeat singer Kidi won the category at the 2022 awards with his smash hit, Touch It. Kofi Kinata is the last artist to have won a category ahead of the established reggae dancehall artist. The celebrated rapper song Ifie Kuma Love emerged winner of the reggae dancehall song of the year at the 2024 TGMA. That's it for the Entertainment News segment. My name is Anita Ekufu. Have a good evening.
Several people have died after a shooting at a hair salon in town of Uppsala, Swedish media have reported. Police said they have received calls from members of the public who reported that they heard loud bangs that sounded like gunfire close to Vaksala Square in the center of the city. The shooting happened on the eve of the Walpurgis Spring Festival, which brings large crowds onto the streets. Several people were found with injuries that suggested gunshot wounds, police said. Officers have cordoned off a large area and an investigation is underway. Police spokesman Magnus Jansen Clarin was quoted by local media saying they received several reports of bangs in the area. Swedish public broadcaster SVT said it spoke to a number of witnesses at the scene who told them they heard shots fired.
And that's how we bring the bulletin to an end. Thank you very much for watching. I am Martin Asiedu Dartey.
And I am Portia. Gabor. Do join Alfredo Cancer at 10 p.m. for Ghana Tonight, as well as Beatrice Edu at